Okay, y'all, I'm going to do my first story for YouTube on my foster care. As you guys know, well, I don't know if YouTube knows, but I know TikTok does. I was a foster care child, and it started at 14 days old. I'll tell you about my mother, but I'll tell you a little bit of foster care story. So, 14 days old, they took me from my real mom. When she was in a mental institution where I was born. They had to like give her support or whatever because she wasn't able to take care of herself. So while I was in her belly, they were giving her shock treatment and giving her food and board and all that in a mental institution. Then they took me to another facility where I was born. And then my mother was married to, my father was white. Now I got to tell you about that story too. But she was married to a black man. But he was in a different city. So he had to drive like about 300 miles to go. I think they said he went and got me. And then he took me to his friend's house. And his friend is the bitch that raised me, that abused me, that our family abused me, that the school abused me, that our friends abused me, that the foster care system abused me, that the CP, all of them abused me. So that was that, okay? Now, I didn't find out anything about my mom until 24 years old. That's when I became interested, and I'll tell you about that. But anyway, they took it from my mom. They didn't even try to find somebody else, like somebody in her family. Like I had sisters and brothers that were 30 years older than me, like 25 to 30 years older than me. They didn't even call them and have them try it. But in a way, it was kind of a good thing because their father beat me up. The man that picked me up and brought me to his friend's house. I got to tell you about that story too. But it was kind of good that it didn't because he probably would have tried to kill me. The way he beat me up. So I don't know. That would have been a good idea. So they put me in and then my mom that had me, her mother said, "Don't bring that white baby to my house." So that was another problem. And they said that she was mean anyway. And they said when their grandmama died, which was my grandmother, they didn't even go to her funeral because she was so abusive to them. So yeah, that was that on that. So I was raised by this old lady. In the beginning of what I can remember, I started to remember around 3. That's when I started having all kind of bad stuff, remembering all the bad stuff happening to me. The old lady that raised me was an old lady already. She changed my fucking name, not legally. She just started calling me something else. That followed me through school, kindergarten and on up preschool. So that became a problem, and it's a problem today because I can't get a real ID, and that's another problem. But then people can get their green card, but I can't get a real ID, and I'm a fucking American. So she changed my name, and the name that's on my birth certificate, I'm not even going to tell you guys. I don't want you to know too much information on me. The name is a horrible name that my real mom gave me. I think she gave it to me because she was probably a little bit off. So I got teased about the name a lot. It didn't bother me, but it stayed in my head. So the old lady started calling me another name. So anyway, I used that name. Oh my God, so many problems. So then how I was able to get ID, when I needed ID, I would just have to go to the school and find the name that they used for me. And then they would let me get a driver's license. But now I can't do that. I mean, for a California ID. So anyway, around 3 years old, I started to remember. And that's when the old lady that raised me, she had a daughter that's probably like 50 years older than me. She used to abuse me. She used to hit me really hard, punch me, throw stuff at me, just horrible. And I lived with her. See, the CPS, the foster care, didn't do shit about it. They just let all these things happen. And because her daughter at the time, I didn't know, was a drug addict, she was taking pills she was taking enemas all the time. She'd do that like 3 times a day. She was taking sleeping pills and she was taking things to make her boo-boo. And she did it every day. She relied on that shit. Because she had just got out of a mental institution. She stayed there for 7 years and 6 months. She was in a crazy house, a cuckoo house. They said she was violent. I think she had the devil in her. I know she did. And then she got out and they put me in a house with a crazy lady. What the fuck? With a crazy lady. So I always had to fight her off. And I remember around 4 years old, I was watching my favorite TV show. And she got mad at something because the old lady used to keep other kids and we were making some noise. And she grabbed me by my titty. And it bled. And it hurted so bad because she grabbed the nipple part. And I said in my brain, in my head, when I get old, I'm going to beat the fuck out. I'm going to beat you up. That's what I said. And I did beat her up. Not beat her up, but I beat her up whenever she pissed me off. So then that was that. Then around 4 years old, I started school, preschool. And I was so embarrassed that the old lady was taking me to school because of the way she looked. She didn't have no teeth. And anyway, you know, she said she lost her teeth at 24, you dummy. She had pyorrhea. Look it up. Pyorrhea is like some kind of disease because she didn't brush her teeth. She didn't even brush my teeth. I never brushed my teeth, ever, hardly. Maybe a couple times a year. I'm surprised nobody didn't tell my breath stink. And I had a cavity in all my teeth. That's her fault. Because I got 3 kids and all my kids' teeth, they ain't got no cavity. Maybe just one. They ain't got no cavities. Because I stood there and made sure they brushed their teeth. And I brushed them for them. You know how they say, oh, when you get 14 and 15, let them do it themselves. No, I'm doing it for them. Because they don't know how to do it. That doesn't mean they're going to do it right. I do it for them. And eventually one day they will learn. But anyway, I had cavities in all my teeth. And she had me suckling on the bottle until I was like a little bit over 5. I know that because I found some old pictures of me and it showed the date. So she took me to school, and that was that. And then when I got into kindergarten, I was like 4, getting ready to turn 5. That's when I got beat up really bad by a girl named Rita Carroll, and she was in 11th grade. She was a little ugly. Ooh, she was ugly, bald-headed, ugly like a... I don't know if I can say it on here like I do on TikTok, so I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to tell my stories. And y'all can go on TikTok and hear my funny videos if you want. But she socked me in my jaw, and I already knew that she was dangerous. And I remember me looking all around like, is there going to be any protection for me? And she said, hi. I said, hi. And then boom, she hit me. I felt like my jaw was broken. Now you got to remember, I'm 4 and she 11. That's a big age gap. She's like a grown person to me. So I ran home crying. And I ran home and told the old lady that didn't care about me anyway. And I told her what happened. And they didn't do nothing about it. And she just beat me up out of hate. She was jealous of me because I was a very pretty little girl. She wasn't pretty. She was not pretty at all. I was a very beautiful child. I didn't know at that time I wasn't. Plus I was mixed. I was black and white. That was another problem because there was nobody in my community. I was the only black that was mixed. Nobody in my school was mixed. Just me. So that was really hard for me. Nobody wanted to be my friend. And this is young. These are like kindergarten kids, 1st grade. No, even little kids don't want to be my friend because they're taught that very young to hate and think that light skin, that black and white is more beautiful, which I don't understand. But so I never had any friends, and I still don't. I only have like 2 friends, 3. I'll say 2. That I've had them since kindergarten, the same friends. Since kindergarten, same damn friends. I'm not a friendly person. I don't I can't cuss, and I don't care. Because I'm not like desperate for friends. I don't know if that's my personality or if my environment made me be that way. I don't trust people. I mean, I trust, but I don't trust people. I don't rely on people. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a large family because of being in foster care. And then when you're in foster care, a lot of people don't want to be your friends. They say, oh, foster kids are crazy. They steal. They got mental problems. They got ADHD. They got all this is what they say about foster kids, and that's not true. Now, they do have foster kids that are crazy. Those are the ones that get kicked out of their real parents' home because they was violent to their parents. That's different. And a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a story on that because they actually put the good kids that were taken from their parents for all kind of reasons and put them with the crazy kids. That makes the good kids get anxiety and panic. That's another story. I don't know how long I can talk on here. I'm about to get off. Okay? Bye.